Let's go! Welcome to the show. It's Project Open Mic. Let's get the show off right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here with me. Cause it's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. Let's get a topic straight. Let's get things good. Let's do everything that we should. It's Project Open Mic. Let's get the show off right. Let's open our minds and take out our style. Let's see what's going on in the world tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's get the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's get the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's get the show off right. What is going on, everybody? Hope you all doing well. This is another episode of Project Open Mic. Hope you guys are doing good. Getting back into the groove of doing this. This is your host, of course, Tig. 1 second here. Alright, just want to make sure something. But yeah, hoping everybody's doing good, everybody's doing well. And for those who are joining us that's new, remember you can go where you're watching this, you can watch this through Facebook, you can watch this to YouTube, Tempo FM, Nico, You Now, You Live, Locals, Rumble. We'll be working on that. So hopefully that's y'all are doing well on that. Local. So that said, let's bring my beautiful face on the screen. How you doing? I want to thank you guys out there who are also watching something that I've been starting lately right now. So if you want a small dose, I won't say small doses, but a little bit. It is called Straight No Chasers. I have a new thing. If you go to YouTube right now, I do have it on other platforms, but it's not like set up fully yet. Well, you can go to YouTube right, and you go to Project Over Mic. See down there. The link is in the description as well too. You can go there, link in, and subscribe, hit the notification bell, help us out. But if you go there, I got something called Straight No Chasers Daily. I have Straight No Chasers, and I'm still gonna do those once in a while. But Straight No Chasers Daily is something to give you guys more stuff, to get more learning stuff from me and situations and everything. And some of it's gonna be less political. It's gonna be once they're there, but it's more cultural. So we're talking about like men and women, culturals, fathers, mothers, the whole 9 yards. That's what we're gonna be doing in that. So Straight No Chasers it basically shows up in the morning. So if you need something to go in the morning while driving, because I basically talk while I'm driving as well too. So I'm driving in the morning and I bring up a topic. I play a clip, audio clip, so you guys can hear it, and we could discuss it in the comment section in YouTube or other places, and let's go back and forth. But to give you guys more and more content, that's what I'm doing. So that is part of the Project Open Mic initiative to do that. So that shows up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Of course, Thursday will be Project Open Mic at the nighttime, and hopefully the side chat will be coming back as well too. I gotta get with the boys to get to talk about this. I don't know yet. Maybe I get some. We'll see how it works. But for right now, thank you for coming in. Hope you guys are doing well. Your family's doing well. And we're going to get into tonight's topic. There's multiple topics already. For those who have the description, you're going to see down there. But we're going to be talking about these egg prices. We're going to talk about the gas. We're going to be talking about egg prices, gas, plastic, because of the lies some people do and are still doing. And last but not least, we're going to be a politician And that's what I talk about Mr. Beast as well too, because I think the social fabric or the society fabric of America is getting teared apart because of stupid. And you will see more of that in Straight No Chases Daily when I talk about some of the stuff where kids and everything. Like it's just I again kids. I did a video on this channel called "We Fail Kids," 3 parts, and I feel for you kids, and I'm sorry. I'm apologizing for other people because I don't have kids, and kids that I did raise are very productive people in this society. Thank goodness. But I'm saying that because of we have um, Generation X and later and millennials have failed Generation Z. X failed the millennials and Z, but they have failed. Mostly is the generation. Then there's nothing. Then that's what the children skip to it. So X has the parents have failed the kids because the moral fabric has been really disturbing now, and that's basically about the Mr. Beast thing. So I'll get with that. Excuse me. So let's go. So let's go about this. Now, everybody out there and their mama is talking about them egg prices, man. It is ridiculous. Okay, we y'all know we all know it. These it is really getting to a point where it's like crazy prices out there. Cause I'm gonna tell you my little story. I used to buy 36 um 36 little eggs. 36 eggs, of course 18. I used to buy 2 packages from Wegmans, all right? I used to buy that from Wegmans. And those back in 2018 and 19, you know what those prices were? The price for for 36 eggs was $1.50. $1.50. All right, $1.50. Now these prices of these eggs are crazy. $1.50, and it goes up. Now you want to know um from me right now, same amount of eggs. Those eggs now cost $10. $10. And what can we say about this? Now we will get down to the nitty gritty of this, you know, but I have a little joke around with it. I have a little joke around with it. But I might be using one of the I might be using one of the you call it. I mean, using one my funny things about it. I mean, look at it right now. Buying eggs in 2003. I don't have $30,000 laying around. I might use one of these as the thumbnail for it. Why are eggs so expensive? Bird flu, inflation, corporate greed. There's a lot of that, really, and government. My 2003 bingo card didn't include eggs and gas stoves, and that's another thing we'll be talking about. We'll be talking about that as well too. Make eggs cheap again. Oh, good grief. Yeah, if someone could fix the bird flu or whatever is making a person crazy, that would be great. Chicken farmers in 2023. Chicken farmers 2021. Ain't nobody got time for that. It's surely true. heading out to buy a dozen eggs. Exactly. All right, so let's get down to the nitty gritty about these egg prices. Again, I told you my situation, and I gotta say you gotta be a little more info out there because like a week ago, I went to Sam's, all the eggs were gone. I went to Costco, all the eggs are gone. Lucky for me, I'm not a panic buyer. I didn't buy like a super panic buyer. I didn't need eggs really, but I was like, geez, Louise, all the eggs are gone in this big place. I went to Wegmans. There was $10. Funny enough, a guy walked up to me and he was like, when I picked up my eggs, he was like, "I'll get $1,000 for that." And he was joking, but that's how crazy it's gotten. So we got eggs, but I'm just saying, it's just like this is basically the toilet paper of 2023 now. Crazy. I still never. Nobody. You notice that nobody never. What do you call it? Nobody never found out. COVID never made you poop crazy or whatever. So why the heck was toilet paper such gouging? Why was that such crazy? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But anyway, let's get into the reasons. I want to share you the reasons why. Okay, we had basically it's a perfect storm that came together: government, inflation, bird flu, and of course, some companies are gouging. Not a lot of them, but yeah. So but we'll talk about that. So let's get into that with explain it to y'all.
And a cruise.
Of course, which is my fault.
Expensive and selling out. People are scrambling, especially in California. The past few months. Now, fortunately, some things are getting cheaper, such as Teslas. Good old bacon. That's right, now is the best time to finally get that bacon-wrapped Tesla you've always been dreaming of. Sadly, bacon and eggs isn't coming cheap.
Nope.
Although the rate of inflation has slowed, egg prices are soaring. In fact, eggs are experiencing the highest month-over-month inflation of any expenditure category, and the highest year-over-year rise among food prices.
Of course.
At this rate, it'll be cheaper to make an omelet out of Fabergé eggs. Now that all sounds bad enough, but let's look at some specific figures. As of December 2022, the U.S. Department of Agriculture reports that the price of eggs has risen up to 59% compared to last year. For a dozen grade A eggs, you'd have to spend around $4.20 compared to just $1.50 last year. That's a nationwide average, meaning this year's Easter egg hunt is going to be more aggressive than ever.
Yep.
And that's just the national average, so it's a lot worse in some states.
Yep.
So why are eggs so expensive? If you said inflation, you're only partly right. A lot of it is thanks to the spread of the highly pathogenic avian influenza that began last February. Although it rarely infects humans, it has a 90 to 100% mortality rate for more than 100 species of birds, even the big ones. Rest in peace, old friend. In order to stop the virus from spreading, a lot of birds had to be culled all around the world, including in the U.S.
And for those who don't know what culled is, that is basically they had to kill them. They had to, you know, the old chicken.
So far, there have been 57 million birds culled
culled
because of the influenza virus across 47 states. That includes more than 44 million egg-laying hens, or roughly 4 to 5% of production. And yes, they're killing millions to try and save billions. This sounds like something straight out of Bird Watchmen. The ongoing avian flu is the worst U.S. bird flu outbreak in history, even worse than the outbreak 8 years ago that killed more than 50 million birds. As a result, there has been a 7.5% decrease in domestic egg supply each month since the outbreak began. And this is leaving a lot of grocery stores empty, especially after Halloween. And even more eggs were thrown at houses. To be fair, that's what they get for handing out pennies. It's gotten to the point that some stores have to limit the number of eggs purchased at a time per customer.
Never saw that yet. but again, I'm not surprised. They did it with the toilet paper and stuff like that, and water when things were going crazy. So yeah, that will soon, you will soon see that situation, of course, in the near future because things are just getting more and more crazy now, and it's not going for the best. More and more. So just letting everybody know about that. But let's keep on going.
Farms in Riverside, customers have gone crazy for eggs because they say it's hard to find them at their grocery stores.
When we went to Sam's Club, they were empty and everybody was just waiting
Just like I was when I went to Sam's Club.
around. Sounds silly, but it's true.
Farmers like Reese McClure say they aren't capitalizing on the big demand.
Everyone thinks your prices go up, it's so you can make a profit. It's to break even. A lot of us smaller guys especially, we're just breaking even and happy to right now.
It's gotten to the point that more people are getting backyard chickens,
Yep.
even in Boston. But things are especially bad in California. I'll tell you why after the break.
And of course, it's the usual. It's the usual why it's getting bad. Let's not be surprised.
Eggs are getting expensive nationwide, but they're especially pricey in California. As of this recording, the national average price of a dozen large eggs is $4.20. Yeah, egg prices are so high, they're $4.20. Sometimes reality writes the jokes for me.
Wait, yeah, it does.
But in California, egg prices averaged more than $7 a dozen in the first week of this month. That's almost double the price of eggs in the beginning of December, and triple the cost from the same time last year.
Just
Depending on
crazy.
what kind of eggs you get, prices can reach $8, $9, or even $13. When Californians get one of those eggs with a double yolk, it's not just good luck, it's a blessing from heaven.
Basically,
So why are California's eggs more expensive? Well, part of it is because of California's regulations on egg production.
are we surprised that California has that? Not really. But that's what he got.
Back in 2018, California passed Proposition 12, which took effect last year. It requires cage-free housing for all egg-laying hens raised in California, and that all eggs sold in California must come from cage-free farms regardless of origin. I should have known. The official motto of California should be, "We tried to make it better, but somehow that made it worse."
That should be the official motto. That's for dang sure.
The argument is that cages are inhumane for chickens, especially when you make them fight it out in the octagon. The cramped space causes psychological stress and self-inflicted injuries. Many animal advocates acknowledge that being cage-free doesn't necessarily mean cruelty-free, since some chickens still have part of their beaks burned off.
Yep.
But going cage-free is still seen as one step in the right direction. It's kind of like giving someone you're torturing a cookie. They'd prefer you not torture them, but at least this is something. Unless, of course, the torture was pulling out their teeth, in which case giving them a cookie is an even worse torture. Anyway, chicken advocates also argue that being cage-free will help combat environmental damage, climate change, and disease outbreaks. However,
Miraculously, that's not doing a good job right now, ain't it?
according to the USDA, the current bird flu outbreak affects all types of chicken farms regardless of size or production style. Even funny farms assume these are the chickens that lay crazy eggs. Mandating cage-free farms inevitably reduces the number of eggs produced, and this is especially a problem for the poor. Many low-income families rely on WIC, which is the federal nutrition program for women, infants, and children. In California, 1 million low-income parents, new families, and children younger than 5 rely on WIC for eggs. But California WIC guidelines state that vouchers can only be used to buy a dozen large white eggs. They can't be used for any other size.
No, son of a bitch!
Only California. Only the nut. I think it's just like when we were in New York. When New York, like we're stopping the churches, the Catholic churches and stuff from giving out food because they don't give because they have high salt intake. If I'm starving, right, and I'm serious, if I'm starving, I don't give a rat butt about that. I have high blood pressure. If I'm starving and I need food to eat, I'll take the food. Yeah, hey, I'll take it better than nothing. But that's what the government always does. That's what the government always does.
Size, type, or color. And Easter eggs. Seriously, this year's egg hunt is going to be a bloodbath. Given that large white eggs tend to be the cheapest and sold off most quickly, WIC recipients can have a hard time finding eggs to eat, even if stores have other types of eggs available. Great, so California wants people to eat more cage-free eggs, but poor people can't afford to buy them. Sounds like California. So California has the worst.
I might gotta screenshot that one. I might gotta screenshot that one and I might gotta screenshot that one.
People
and
can't afford to buy them.
my boy,
Sounds like
send it to my boy Anderson.
California.
That's basically what it is. We try to make things better, but somehow it made it worse. That is their motto. Yeah, we might gotta do that.
So California has the worst of both worlds, a bird flu pandemic and regulations that reduce egg supply. And just like the bird flu, the cage-free egg mandates are spreading.
Yep.
Washington State, Oregon, Colorado, Nevada, Utah, Michigan, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island are aiming to transition to 100% cage-free eggs by the end of 2023 to 2026. This is good news for chickens, and probably good news for the environment, but it makes life harder for the poor. And if the U.S. faces another bird flu, it'll have even fewer eggs produced to meet demand. Before long, it'll just be cheaper to buy that bacon-wrapped Tesla. So what do you think? And if you're living in California, what's your experience with eggs? Leave your comments below.
I agree with Chris. Yeah, leave your comments below. Tell us what's going on in the egg spots and 10-point fam and all that stuff. I'm seeing the people in the chat, and yeah, we're going to have to go dig into that for sure because it's getting crazy out there with the eggs. All right, these prices are just straight up ridiculous. Just literally straight up ridiculous on these prices, and I have a kind of like a problem with that, but what can we do about it? Then pay what you pay. Even if you like places like in the Caribbean where my family's from, where you gotta pay for the prices are even more crazy down there. So of course the poor is hurting. Everybody's hurting this one, no matter if you're rich, really, but if you're not just a rich D, but everybody's hurting in this one. So with eggs. So another thing we want to talk about is also another thing that makes it stupid. And I'm not gonna do the whole of this really, but I just need to talk about this because it's just crazy. And it's about the gas stove culture. Oh boy. So let's go into this debacle for this one. Because again, now they want to ban gas stoves. Oh, because of child's dying from. And again, government, please stop. Please, literally, please stop. Say, oh, we do this for the kids. You're not. All right. That's what y'all saying, but you're not doing it.
Wow, what a waste. The poor children.
Exactly, the poor children. Children, do you feel that the government is doing a good job with all this stuff for all the kids that's going in? Because I think you guys getting screwed. So let's go with the gas stove. Because again, the reason is just asinine, but hey, whatever. Let's go with it.
That's right. People are turning up the heat over the gas stove culture war. There were two sparks that ignited the outrage. One of them was a recent study from December in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health. It found that more than 12% of childhood asthma nationwide is attributed to gas stoves. Ooh, burn. Okay, that one didn't really work. But hey, I'm trying to win at stove pun bingo. This new study, or rather all the news reports written about it, kicked off a new wave of alarmism over gas stoves.
Of course.
That was nothing compared to spark number 2. A Bloomberg News interview with Richard Trumka Jr., a Biden-nominated commissioner for the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. Trumka suggested that the commission would consider an outright ban on gas stoves.
Wait a minute. What the fuck? This man's name is Trumka. You can't make this stuff up. Trumka. You can't make this stuff up.
He said that gas stoves are a hidden hazard and that any option is on the table. Products that can't be made safe can be banned.
How about you shut your pie hole and leave people to choose what they want to choose to cook their food on?
Okay, but any product can be an unsafe hidden hazard.
Exactly.
Forget stoves. Stepping barefoot on Legos is way more dangerous. How are these things still legal? This wasn't the first time Trumka mentioned a ban. He made similar comments last month when he said, we need to be talking about regulating gas stoves, whether that's drastically improving emissions or banning gas stoves entirely. And I think we ought to keep that possibility of a ban in mind because it's a powerful tool in our tool belt. Banning gas stoves entirely, what does that mean? Does this mean
exactly? What does that mean?
Actually outlawing gas stoves that people already own? What next? Are they going to ban their deep fryers? You know, because the U.S. government isn't cool with people getting their oil from somewhere other than Russia and Saudi Arabia. If you look just at the headlines, you would definitely think that this is about banning all gas stoves. But Trumka was talking about a possible ban on new gas stoves.
How about you mind your business? That's more so what I would say.
Not the ones already in people's homes.
So you still ain't saving the kids. So what the hell reason is that? It's so asinine.
Not many people got the memo, though. Some were getting the impression that the federal government would go house to house to confiscate gas stoves like ICE agents.
Well, it's the internet. Of course they'll do the memes. Heck, I just showed you a couple of memes with the eggs.
Hot agents? And that's how the culture wars went up in flames.
Oh, yeah.
Again. Republicans criticized gas stove bans to score political points against unelected bureaucrats.
Oh, yeah, and trust me, he's correct. But we're gonna talk about you Republicans in a little while too. I said there's nothing more hate than a Republican than a Democrat. All right, because both parties are pieces of trash. One I just hate more, but y'all are cowards. You don't stand up to nothing, so that's why I say that. But we'll get into that.
Light it up. Even lazy single guys who never cook for themselves were like, you can't take my gas stove.
Hey, what about the lazy single women who also don't cook? There's a lot of women now who don't know how to cook either.
That's where I keep all my Doritos. After the backlash started, Trumka tried to turn down the heat. He tweeted that the commission wouldn't come for anyone's gas stoves. He also said switching from gas to electric would be voluntary and supported with an $840 rebate from the Inflation Reduction Act.
Oh, flipping course. That act doesn't reduce nothing. You created more inflation because they got to buy us. Oh my goodness. I swear. Who runs? Well, the government is run by idiots. Let's just be it. We already know we have a big idiot running the one right now and a vice president. And, you know, it's just. We're using the reduction for basically, y'all, like I said before, and I did a video about this a while back before this bill passed. It's just a lump sum of money they could do anything with just to, and tease people so they could get things. You took money now, that's why we're over $32 trillion in debt.
Which is a pretty sweet deal.
No,
After all, $840 can buy a lot of Doritos. But it was already too late. The lid was already open. Republicans have seized the opportunity to claim that Biden was waging a war on people's kitchens.
Goodness, I hate politics.
More after the break.
You guys are pain in the butts. Seriously, y'all are pain in the butts. War, really? Really?
Welcome back. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission saying they were only considering banning new gas stoves, not all gas stoves, wasn't exactly helpful. Many didn't like the idea of banning people from buying new gas stoves either.
No.
This has made the gas stove a new Republican symbol in the culture wars,
Oh, good
supposedly to
grief.
stop a Democrat power grab, specifically a power grab while they were wearing oven mitts. Somehow, Come and Take My Gas Stove is the 2023 version of Don't Tread on Me. Is it just me, or is the culture war getting dumber?
Yes. Exactly. It is getting dumber. Jeez.
I guess no one should be surprised. If Democrats are involved, then it's a given that Republicans will pick a fight.
And vice versa.
What that usually means is trying to roast people on Twitter. Like when Senator Tom Cotton tweeted that Democrats are coming for people's kitchen appliances because their desire to control every aspect of people's lives knows no bounds, including how they make breakfast. Which is scary, unless you're one of those maniacs who eats pancakes with ketchup. In that case, you do need to be stopped. Others, like Texas Congressman Ronnie Jackson, are tweeting things about how the White House would have to pry his gas stove from his cold.
These are the Republicans that we choose. I get you. Like I said, the Republican Party also is a jackassery. Really? Twitter is just a cesspool.
Dead hands. Which is confusing because you'd think if his stove were in his hands, they wouldn't be so cold. But I wouldn't want you to think that people are only tweeting their outrage.
You're not taking our gas stoves away from us. That is your choice.
Yes, Ron DeSantis just literally held up a sign that says, "Don't tread on Florida," with a gas stove on it. Okay, it's not just me. The culture war is definitely getting dumber.
Yes, it is.
There's even a website called SaveTheStoves.com.
Really?
You might think you're signing a petition to save our stoves, but it's really a sneakily disguised page to get you to sign up for Congressman Ronnie Jackson's campaign email list, where he will ask you for money forever.
Exactly.
There's also a bill to prevent gas stove bans called the Stop Trying to Obsessively Vilify Energy Act.
Oh my goodness.
No, this isn't a joke. There really is
It
a
is a
bill
stove.
called the Stove Act.
Holy Jesus. What is
No, son of a bitch!
I hate American politics is crappy. You literally come up with something. I hear when it's like just like the whole thing with what was it again with the laying people out on the stove in the Safe Act, where they're letting criminals out on the streets. Oh, that's a safe act, all right. Flipping hell.
Here's what the U.S. would look like if Congress spent more time trying to solve real issues and less time coming up with acronyms
you.
for culture war bills.
Thank you. Amen. That is so true.
You know the dumbest thing about this? Most Republicans probably don't even have gas stoves. Only 38% of Americans have gas stoves.
Yeah.
There's only a handful of states where the majority of people have gas stoves. And most of those states are blue.
And I have to point out something too, which is my mom brought this when she was in the Caribbean. Okay, I got something here. Hawaii, the Caribbean, like in St. Thomas, where Home Depot sells more electric stove than gas stove. What the hell reason is that? Hurricanes come through. When the power goes out, I can't cook crap. Gas stove, people, gas stove. So stupid. When the power goes out, I want to cook something, okay? If I'm in the Caribbean, hurricanes, Hawaii, hurricanes. That's why I want a gas stove. Good Lord, the stupidity of people. That makes sense. My mom said she had to go through a lot of stuff when we had to rebuild the house and everything. She's like, oh, we gotta. It took a while to get a dang gas stove. Why? In St. Thomas, where the wind and the power is, again, hurricanes is there every second. I mean, every second, sorry. You know, every year a hurricane comes through. Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's worse. But if your bad one comes through and you need to cook food, it best to have that. How stupid is that? Oh my goodness. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Like California, New Jersey, and New York. In the vast majority of red states, more than 70% of people have electric stoves. But why let facts get in the way of righteous indignation? Why do most Americans have electric stoves?
Kind of cheap.
There are several reasons.
It's cheap.
Electric coil stoves are cheaper than gas stoves.
Yep.
They also don't require running a natural gas line, which means they're also cheaper to install. And in parts of the U.S., like the South, most homes are heated with electricity, not natural gas, so it makes sense to have more electric stoves. Okay, we're done with the facts. Back to the culture war. After all the brouhaha, the White House denied supporting banning gas stoves, probably because they understand that this is both a stupid and unpopular hill to die on. In fact, the chair of the Consumer Product Safety Commission, who is a Biden appointee, came out and said that they would not be banning gas stoves, basically slapping down the guy from the commission who was going around saying they should ban gas stoves, which started this whole thing in the first place. Because guess what? Lots of Democrats like their gas stoves too.
Yep.
Gas stoves just cook better than electric stoves. Of course, there are electric induction stoves which cook almost as well as gas, but those are really expensive and not many people have them.
Yep.
I suspect that very few people actually support a gas stove ban.
Yep.
But rather than let things simmer down, Democrats fought back by insulting Republicans' intelligence. Because why let a good culture war fight go to waste?
Oh, good gracious!
Because why let a good culture war?
I was on vacation. And stuff, and of course, I had to listen to this moron that much. But let me see. Did you know that ongoing exposure of nitrous oxide gas, let's see, stoves is linked to reduce cognitive performance? Says the woman who didn't know what a garbage disposal was. You know what?
Because why let a good culture war fight go to waste?
Exactly.
And once again, Senator Joe Manchin, who is a Democrat, ended up on the wrong side after he said the federal government has no business telling Americans how to cook their dinner.
Exactly.
People told him to shut up. Others called him a ghoul, as if he could care less about child asthma.
Oh, shut up. Neither do none of you. Half of y'all don't even want children. So what do you care? Y'all limp-wristed people, you don't care about that. So what? Come on, please. Really?
Don't you just love it when people have thrown out nuance from the conversation?
Exactly.
Just all boils down to hurling insults at each other.
Really?
Because that's way easier. That's why you never see any nuance battles. Your mama's so fat because she has a glandular issue. So what's missing in the conversation about gas stoves? Well, for one, improving indoor air quality isn't bad in of itself. U.S. safety officials have been worried about gas stoves and its effects on health for decades, since at least 1985. Gas stoves leave behind pollutants, such as nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, and tiny airborne particles called PM 2.5, which can affect childhood asthma. Not to mention childhood obesity, if the only thing those stoves cook is macaroni and cheese. Finding more efficient and clean ways to cook food isn't bad. On the other hand, fears about gas stoves' negative effects may be exaggerated.
Yes.
I'll explain after the break.
Over the past 6 months,
I think it is. Try to let this one go because I do like this investigation because a lot of people don't know about this stuff as well too.
we have been investigating as well as exposing the truth behind all of these food processing plants that have been catching on fire and burning to the ground. The Dutch farmers in the Netherlands protesting against their government, how the people in Sri Lanka nearly starved to death because of a ban on synthetic fertilizers, the push towards having people eat food made out of bugs, and of course, how the price of food on our supermarket store shelves have been going up by double digits. And you know what? With all these problems, and with even our own politicians here in America using words like food shortages to describe what's potentially on the horizon, well, it might not be a stretch to assume that trouble is looming in the near future. And so, the time to prepare is now. Click on that button below this video and claim your free...
I'll leave it at that. But it is true. Friend of the show, Anderson, who I was talking about, he always show me these videos. It's crazy. All these food plants, the processed food and everything is going up in flames and stuff like that. Kind of weird, kind of crazy.
Welcome back. I mentioned earlier about the recent December study connecting gas stoves to childhood asthma. Many people cite this to show how 1 in 8 cases of asthma in the U.S. can be traced back to gas stove pollution. But keep in mind that 2 of the researchers, including the lead author, belong to the Rocky Mountain Institute, an environmentalist nonprofit that pushes for zero carbon emissions. So there's already some bias.
I already said that already. There's no such thing as zero carbon. We ain't gonna do it. So I don't know why people try.
That'd be like a study saying a vegan lifestyle is super healthy, except it's written by chickens, cows, and pigs.
Exactly.
It might be right, but I'm a little suspicious. Now, the way they did their calculation was standard practice, but it depends on existing literature about the relationship between gas stoves and asthma. Not all studies indicated a clear causal relationship between gas stoves and asthma.
Yep.
Pro-gas groups like the American Gas Association love to cite this multi-year study across 47 countries that found no association between gas as a cooking fuel and asthma. That'd be like a study saying a vegan lifestyle is unhealthy, except it's written by the Meat Eaters Coalition of America. It might be right,
but I'm a little suspicious.
But there are studies that find a positive correlation, but paint a bit of an inconsistent picture. For example, a 2004 study of Russian children didn't find evidence that gas cooking increased wheezing or asthma-like symptoms. But that could just be because Russians are sturdier. Gas doesn't bother them when they're so used to being poisoned more directly. A 2013 study found a link with asthma for girls, but not boys. If you take information from the American Housing Survey and the U.S. Census Bureau, you'd find that Florida has a lot more children with asthma than Illinois, even though Illinois has a lot more gas stoves
than Florida.
Probably from all those pollen-breathing iguanas in Florida. The joke here is a lot of you aren't sure if I'm joking or not. Anyway, the point is not to say that it's perfectly fine to breathe in gas from gas stoves. Don't. The point is there are a bunch of other factors that can cause asthma.
Yeah.
And we don't know for certain how much of an effect gas stoves have. A 2013 meta-analysis of 41 of these papers found that gas stoves could increase the risk of childhood asthma by 2.8% in the U.S. That's not a lot overall. The big picture is that this latest study probably overstates the contribution of gas stoves to childhood asthma. And if you want to reduce that risk, you don't have to rip out your gas stove. You could turn on a ventilation fan while cooking, use a HEPA filter in the kitchen, or even open the window. There are lots of ways to protect yourself from all sorts of hidden hazards, like wearing shoes, for example.
I'll leave it at that. And he's correct, and he's correct about that. Like, open up the window. Down in the Caribbean, that's what we do. So, it's been a good 3 months of not being a part of this craziness, and then I had to talk about it. But yeah, your boy's back, and you sharing what he thinks and showing you stuff, and of course, give you the receipts, and making sure you know
Beautiful, lovely
the government.
Thanks for taking my money.
That's what the government does. Yeah, I'm back to doing all that stuff because it's just ridiculous. Okay, so right now we have about 18,340 people in the building. Thank you guys again for share. Put it out there. Do that. I might do a little thing at the end, but anyway, let's jump to the next topic at hand. I want to again, let's go to another one. John Stossel about the plastics degree simply cannot be recycled. So that's because again, the government just, again, companies, government, yeah, you got to do your own research on things. You really do.
Cycle?
For sure, absolutely.
Absolutely, everything I possibly can.
For decades, we've been told.
Recycle America, don't just throw it all away.
Because recycling will save the planet.
You're saving the earth.
And that's what people believe.
We have to do it for the kids, for the next generation.
Wow, what a waste. The poor children.
This will all be back on the shelf as a cracker or cereal box in about 4 to 5 weeks.
This recycling company is run by Lynn Hoffman.
If we're not using recycled paper and cardboard, we're cutting down more trees.
Recycling paper and cardboard does save trees. Recycling aluminum does save energy. But most of the other stuff is impractical to recycle.
That's right. This is material that came in to the recycling facility from people's recycling carts and is going to leave as trash.
Huge amounts of what people send to her recycling plant will never be recycled. The worst is plastic, which for years has been marked with the recycling symbol.
We see stuff like this all the time. Recycling arrows on it. Please recycle. It's not recyclable.
Even worse, plastic bags clog the recycling machines.
You have to climb in for a couple hours every day and cut them out with the box cutter.
But people think most of our plastic is recycled.
Yeah, I do think so. Is it not? You're gonna tell me it's not? That's the trick?
The reality is that
the amount of plastic actually recycled is around 5%.
Wow. I figured there was something coming, but I'm shocked right now. I didn't know.
It's sad.
All my life, I've heard about how important it is to recycle.
It's not.
Science writer John Tierney debunked recycling claims years ago. His New York Times Magazine story, "Recycling is Garbage," set a record for Times hate mail. And yet,
of course,
what you said is still
true.
It's even more true today. In fact, the economics have just gotten worse.
Now, my city would save more than $300 million a year if it just stopped recycling.
Recycling is an industry that's using increasingly expensive labor to produce materials that are worth less and less.
Because it's not worth recycling here, much is shipped overseas to countries like Malaysia, where it's just piled up.
A vast field of plastic 2 stories high.
Some of it from America.
See if we can look on the back here. Marysville, Ohio. Look, Walmart bag.
They just dump here and then they burn it.
That pollutes even more. And what they don't burn, they sometimes dump in the ocean.
1 garbage truck of plastic is dumped in the sea every minute.
Barely any of that plastic comes from American shores.
Hey, Greta Thunberg, how about that? It doesn't come from, and I've said this before, it doesn't come from America with all, okay? Do America? There are places where some unscrupulous people dump the stuff into the ocean in America? Yes, but most of it comes from China, India, Africa. It just does.
So,
if you care about saving Flipper, you should put your plastic bottle in the garbage.
The garbage? But then it would go to a landfill. And aren't we running out of space for landfills?
No, we ain't.
I'm sure we are.
People believe that because for years the media said,
we've about run out of places to...
The media. Oh, goody. How would I trust them?
...to throw away our throwaways.
They think that because years ago there was so much publicity about this barge.
A symbol of this country's growing problems with trash.
The barge traveled thousands of miles looking for a place to dump its load. But it wasn't because there wasn't room.
It was because it was toxic, and nobody want to talk about that. And the media, they follow right behind other people. So, the media says this. Remember, I showed you videos where when it's like all these stations just say the same thing. They just repeat and regurgitate the same thing over and over again.
States turned this barge away because alarmist media scared people about what it contained.
There could be infectious waste.
Dripping brown ooze of possibly infectious material.
We don't know what kind of tropical vermin is in that garbage.
Nobody knows.
The EPA later found it was normal garbage. And landfills had plenty of room for it. Today they have more space than we'll ever need.
If you think of the United States as a football field, all the garbage that we will generate in the next 1,000 years would fit inside a tiny fraction of the 1-inch line.
Really? Oh, that's surprising.
On top of that, today's landfills are not the polluters they once were. Some sensible regulations make sure they don't pollute.
And I will give credit due when government does do good. And I've seen some of the regulations myself from being in my job and going around. Yes, that part is true. Laying down some stuff that leach fields and stuff, so that don't be a problem. I agree with so that part. I give government when it makes sense to do stuff. I will give it that.
Eventually, landfills are turned into ski hills, parks, and golf courses. Putting garbage here is much cheaper than recycling. So why do towns keep pushing recycling?
They do it because people demand it. It's a sacrament of the green religion.
I rinse my cans, I take my labels off.
I ain't doing all that now.
If there's plastic on that something that's paper, I take the plastic piece off of it.
That's fine if they want to do it voluntarily, but we shouldn't mandate it. It's not my religion. I don't want to perform that sacrament.
I don't want to either. It's time-consuming and complicated. My city orders us follow all these rules.
And that's one of the reasons recycling fails is because it's so complicated, people never learn the rules. And why should they be spending their free time learning these rules?
Worse, lots of what we do is pointless.
If you rinse a plastic bottle in hot water, the net result is more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere than if you threw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
Even Greenpeace said most plastic simply cannot be recycled. So what's Greenpeace's solution?
Let's stop producing it.
You're saying don't use plastic.
This is why that guy left, the person who started Greenpeace is against Greenpeace. How crazy it's gotten now.
Plastic at all. Ban plastic.
I think that's where we're headed.
No more plastic? But plastic often creates less emissions than alternatives. Environmental groups rarely mention that, or how they misled us about recycling for years.
It's appalling that after telling people for 3 decades to recycle, they don't even apologize for all the time and money that they've wasted. Instead, they have an even worse proposal that will make life even worse and will be even more expensive.
Most of the time they do.
One time-consuming dream of theirs is a circular economy where everything is reused.
If you're running out of laundry detergent, you could take your jug back to the store and fill it up instead of buying another one. That's really the goal.
That ain't gonna happen. So you gonna tell me you gonna put you got a truck to move a vat, put it in there like you do soda and stuff, and they'll go. There'll be a long line. Y'all are not practical. You know that, right?
But people don't want to.
Exactly.
You're asking them to do things they don't want to do.
People also don't want insurance rates going up because of catastrophic weather.
Catastrophic weather increases because someone doesn't recycle?
Sure, because of climate change.
Give me a break. Recycling's no climate savior.
No.
When Los Angeles mandated recycling, they added 400 polluting garbage trucks. But environmentalists still demand we pick through our trash, switch from plastic to paper bags that rip. California even banned small plastic shampoo bottles. They still think it's
Why do you want to make life more difficult for travelers? Some of these rules are just so arbitrary and silly. It's simply a way, I think, for Greens and for some politicians to pretend that they're saving the planet. And it's just absurd.
It's feel good.
Doing something.
You ain't.
Right, and I think they get a charge out of telling people what to do.
Yeah. That part is the part about government I don't like. They get a charge out of doing things for people. That is true. That part is true. Alrighty, let's get down to the another thing I want to talk about, which is Mr. Beast. Shout out Mr. Beast, one of the most popular YouTubers on the planet. So he did something that was nice for people, right? He did something that was nice for people, and of course, Twitter and the sanctimonious little kids that we put this to, and we set this up to, don't know S from S. That's the I'll be nice. They don't know what's going on. They just don't. So let's talk about that. Cause it's crazy.
Is Mr. Beast a disgusting, exploitive monster, or is he a hero? Or both of those are.
I will, Philip DeFranco, you're more disgusting than Mr. Beast. Okay, I've seen how you talk some stuff, but anyway, That's not the point.
Arguments have been flying around the internet for over a day now. And that's because over the weekend, he uploaded a video titled 1,000 Blind People See for the First Time, where you see him work with a surgeon to perform an operation on blind and partially blind people that would allow them to get their vision back.
They can't see, but we have all the technology to fix it.
Yep, half of all the blindness in the world is people who need a 10-minute surgery.
But the thing is, a lot of these people just don't have access to it or the money for it, even though it's life-changing. With a number of people sharing their stories to Mr. Beast and his team, you know, one person in the video saying blindness stopped them from working, another saying he's never been able to drive a car, but this procedure changed all that. And of course, because it's Mr. Beast, he didn't just stop at the surgeries. He gave one guy a Tesla, others got money.
What does this say?
You just won $10,000.
Here you go.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
You also see him take this international with people from other countries also getting help, and in total changing at least 1,000 lives. And largely the response to this video has been very, very positive. People saying it's heartwarming, it's amazing, but also others saying things like, are we going to start celebrating people with resources giving back to people for entertainment only?
He worked hard for his money and he's giving it to people who deserve it. But whatever.
These surgeries to people who agreed to be in a YouTube video for him to monetize. How is that charity? And he just makes people dance on camera for basic human needs so he can make millions. As well as some that were split saying,
how dancing for is a basic human need? You kids crazy.
He makes a good impact, but he does it in a borderline or maybe not borderline unethical way that benefits himself more than anyone he could ever help. Giving should be a selfless act.
Well, here was some of the online discourse, courtesy of Distractify, to give you a little bit of flavor of what people were saying. Quote, if Mr. Beast truly wanted to do something good and truly cares about disabled people, he would not monetize their suffering and make them tap dance on video just so he can slap it up.
Oh, monetize there. What do you mean? Suffering? You took me from not being blind to I could see. What suffering is he doing? Miss Kendra Brown, you psychopathic idiot. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
On YouTube, I'm tired of having to perform gratitude for wealthy people just to stay alive.
What? You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Y'all people crazy. That's what I said. Why I said again. I'll leave it alone. Okay? People, he monetized it to get money. Yes. And to give more money to help other people. It's a cycle, you idiots.
If others went even further, this person tweeted, there is something so demonic about this, and I can't even articulate what it is, and they've got screenshots from the video. Sticking with the satanic theme here, this individual really went all in, tweeting, he is literally...
Like I said, white leftist women are the most... They're nut jobs. Seriously, I don't know what it is. Jeez.
The Antichrist.
Oh, there's always some sick people. Okay, but
yeah.
we won't talk about this.
There's
so
sick
what do you
people.
think about people being mad about this?
Okay. I'm gonna start from the beginning. I don't like when people film people giving to homeless people.
You got a little... Sorry.
That don't matter. It's not gonna show them camera. Whatever.
And I apologize before saying this. There's gonna be some cursing. These guys do that, so in case they do, I'm just saying I'm not paying the whole thing. I'm just paying half. I just want to let you know about the Mr. Beast situation. The moral: these young kids and young adults who do not know what it is, what's going on in the world. But I know I was gonna say something I agree with.
So you walk in the world and you always look sharp. Go ahead. I support you. Go ahead. I'm support. There's nothing to do with the camera. This is for you.
That's fine.
All right,
it's fine.
Stop getting like a schoolgirl because I said something nice.
That's fine. And I'm not gonna find it. It's so fucked up to have a beard.
Wait,
like
this is a selfless act I just did for you on camera, which we're gonna monetize.
You're a fucking demon.
I'm the Antichrist. You didn't even see that coming. I would not have done that kind of thing off camera.
You are a demon.
Hey, I'll say this. People get mad because they film the stories. Take the macro aspect out of it.
Exactly.
This is your sibling, your sister, your brother,
your father. Yeah.
They've not been able to see for most of their life.
My sister is turning.
Exactly. Life. And the thing about it that
and you can...
to the people who got this, is something great. Like that guy's family, they got $10,000. That's great to them. Yes, he monetized it. He gets more money, and then he uses it to do, because Mr. Beast does a lot of stuff to help people. That's what he does. Good for him. Shout out. I have nothing really negative about him really to say. I could nitpick, but no. I know what he does, and it's cool that he does that. But for y'all to say that he's prophesizing off of helping people, well, okay, he helped people. They didn't pay no money at all. He paid everything.
Afford to pay for it. And Mr. Beast comes by and he says, listen, I think I can help. I can give your father his eyesight so he can look at you again. And he gives you an option. He says, we can tell your story or we cannot. Because understand, there's 1,000 people that they've helped. They didn't film all those stories. There's plenty of people they helped that never went online.
Exactly.
And they gave people options. Would you like to tell this story? And you say, I'd love to. If this helps you make more so you can help more people, I would love to.
Exactly.
If this means that you raise awareness for the fact that most people are blind, not due to some genetic issue that can't be cured, but because of easily curable 10-minute procedures that we can't afford, I would love to. And all of a sudden, your father can now see again. They're bawling their eyes out because they're making eye contact and they really feel like they're being seen for the first time. That's what he's giving these people.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than having this kind of outrage for the systems that create these inequalities, you direct it at the individual who's greatly improving their lives and allowing families to be able to look at each other.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a day that I'm ever going to look at somebody doing something this positive and try to figure out their motives. I don't even care. Let's say I'm the most uncharitable person, and I think Mr. Beast is a selfish piece of shit human being who's only doing this for the clicks. I don't give a fuck.
That's how we.
There is 1,000 people now that can see that couldn't see yesterday.
Exactly.
And if he takes that money and wants to be more egotistical to save another 1,000, I will celebrate that too. I don't give a fuck what's in his heart or what his intentions are. People that couldn't see can now see.
That's a f***ed up way to be egotistical.
Do you understand? Close your fucking eyes. Now that's your rest of your life. Someone can change that. I will never sit here.
Neither would I.
And get mad at him for that.
Neither would I.
Because we spend too much time in our society celebrating niggas with guns shooting each other.
Exactly.
Celebrating people who are getting violent in the ring or doing other kinds of crazy stuff.
Exactly.
Someone's giving people their eyesight back.
Bring it.
And you want to call them demons.
Tell them.
Then, bitch, I want to be in hell.
Especially now, it's kind of cold outside.
So I'm just keeping it stacked with y'all. That's the kind of stuff that I see people doing online that I'm like, this is goofy virtue signaling to me.
Exactly.
Yo,
think about the outcomes. That's just I want you guys to think more about that.
But you said something very interesting. That's how we choose to be selfish? Yeah. Like, if he wants to... Think about what you're saying, guys. His way of being selfish... Like, he loves clicks so much that he's going to be selfish and help 1,000 people.
I think the word selfish has such a negative connotation because I think the way that people employ it is like there's an extreme interest in oneself. I think most actions, if you take it at the literal definition, have some self-interest involved.
Yeah, that's
when
true.
you do something good for other people, you partially do it because it feels good.
Good
because
to
you're
you.
rewarded, because you're strengthening bonds, because you're helping others. Yeah.
And we also get our own endorphins and everything for helping people. It's a little bit of that in us. Yes.
You're doing it for them. But there's also a part of you that's rewarded for that. That's not even a bad thing. This is literally our biology, all right, and our social skills being programmed into us to encourage us and incentivize us to do good things.
Exactly.
The same thing with our families and helping them. Like, it does give us a rewarding feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. You don't have to feel guilty about that. It's not a bad thing. No. This is our social engineering over hundreds of decades, encouraging us to create communities. Whether you're giving...
And we're breaking it down in America now because we're getting rid of the nuclear family. Oh, boy. We'll have a conversation about that when that comes up.
People tax write-offs so they can donate more. Whether you are telling people, you're a great job and I really appreciate it, and you're making them feel good when they do something good. Whatever the fuck it is, encourage people to do good. We need to. We need to encourage everybody to start giving more, to do more. Because it helps the people in your community. And I'm not even talking about big stuff. Go volunteer at a soup kitchen. And I'll say, good, I'm grateful that you're doing that. Even if you only doing it to hear my words of affirmation, it doesn't fucking matter. Because they need those volunteers. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So whoever it is, If they do something good, go out of your way to thank them, to really appreciate what they've done. Show gratitude, because it might just be the extra boost that they need to do more good for other people. And guess what? You create a chain reaction. So let's get out of trying to read people's intentions, to try to make people perfect angels that don't exist, who are Mother Teresa.
Evil.
Right? And let's just encourage people when they do something good. That's all.
I'm not a fan of people giving to homeless people like a $20 and you're like, camera in the face. It's fucked up. And I think it's a different thing than what Mr. Beast does.
Yes.
Just because you're filming misery. All right, these people are not necessarily miserable, but like I feel like sometimes they don't get asked, those homeless people, if they want to be on cam. You just arrive here with your cam and you give that shit I hate. Like ask people if you want to film them and stuff like that. In the case of Mr. Beef, Mr. Beef.
Now that he came out with them burgers, I might start calling him Mr. Beef. Hey, pause. Mr. Beef sounds like a good porn name. Yeah. You found out this nigga is
you know, they're gonna get to that part. So, but I just wanted to point out that as well too. Yeah, just let's not do that, okay? All right, Mr. Beast, you did a good job. You made people who are blind and those sick people. Again, most of those are tweets. And what do I say about Twitter? It's a cesspool of the humanity. That is a cesspool of people's thoughts. And also, TikTok is the same for videos because it's just bad. But let's end up with one more thing, kind of politics or whatever, and we call it a night. I know it's been a good thing right here. Let me just check out something here again. We up to we dropped down to 17,264. It's all cool. It's all great. I understand that. I'll just read a couple of the chat. Let me see. Evan Sleasley from New York. The whole reason my family and I survived the freaky freezing cold in Buffalo this year was our gas stove. Dang, well there you go. Charles Ballett from Texas. I hate our government. Let's not talk about the debt or saving corporate America. Let's instead take away the stuff from people. Yeah, that is true. Larry Funari from Wisconsin. Oh, shout out, get new page from Wisconsin. Brings me back to the time when the old owl was trying to save the forest. So our whole 6th grade class went to war over brown paper bags at the store. We collected money by selling our mom's peanut butter cookies. He has in quotation, has in the brackets, don't freak out back then. There was no freak out back then because peanuts were allowed in school. The kids' allergy wasn't as strong as it was today, which is true. It was a hard fought, but over the time we did win and replace all the brown bags, the biodegradable bags, with cheap plastic ones. Fast forward a couple of decades now, and our war is caused by the Great Plastic Island in the middle Pacific Ocean. What I learned from the whole thing is that groups decide to save the planet when they're really doing is lining their pockets full of money, and they could care less about the planet. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Carl Glover from UK, from London. I am 67. I remember as a boy when I was 67. I remember when I was a boy dustbin. Oh, I would say I remember as a boy that our dustbin was emptied once a week, and it was really full. My parents grew up during the war when everything could possibly be reused. Pop soda cans came in glass bottles, yeah, which can be returned from small reimbursement. In fact, all kinds of bottles, beer and milk was all recycled because it was glass. Shocks, shocks, socks were drained until there were more drained. Oh, I think you meant stocks. Stocks was drained until there was more original stock to be replaced. The parcel was in bond paper bag and tied with a string. My mother would have saved both and reused them. Well, you came from a generation where that happens. That is true, and I don't, that is seriously true. And I'm with you with that. So I totally understand that situation, and I'm going to see here. Whew. Bengizu Ice, and again, sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. I really do. I am sorry about that. Bengizu Isa from Poland. Oh my God, what has the world come to? I seriously got the chills hearing how Mr. Beast was called a demon just because he made and monetized content out of a priceless charity. The only people who call this demon are the people who repulse of the idea of helping other people with their sources, which is true. Most of the people don't care. And when you see videos like those, we actually get inspired to help the rest in need and create a ripple effect. Oh, God help us. What are the young generations coming to? They are after the ones that want to change the world for the better. Good. Yeah, I'm with you with that. I see. Um Candice George. I watched I watched the video that Mr. Beast did that day when it was released. It was the first time ever seen a Mr. Beast video, and it made me tear up. It was wholesome. The evil people who hate and sadly the evil people that hate wholesome. Again, remember one of my phrases: "Evil comes in all shapes, size, color, creed." You know the deal. Never watched a Mr. Beast video, but I love it for what he did. I hope he keeps on doing his thing. Um, Brandon Corner. I am not blind, but if Mr. Beast wanted to pay for my LASIK and and the only payment I would have to give him is to be filmed, of course I would gladly agree. Missing one of my senses is something that and somebody offered me to restore it. I can't even imagine. I didn't even know it was possible that you could help the blind people like this. But this video brought so much awareness and also show what procedures out there that is out there to help people. Again, that's the part that's good. I'll read one more before we get into the last video. Else, whew, Elsa Nagaderi. Hope I'm pronouncing it right. Nagaderi, if I'm right. Ndayrukiye from Egypt. Again, I apologize, but thank you for watching. Whew. Okay, you got the only reason that because you have a nice little lengthy thing here, and I want to read it out. Some people just have so much hatred for the world that they can't even fathom someone would just do something for the good cause, for a good cause. He's a nice guy who likes to help people. Also, the guy you said Abba has a point about selfish act is excellent. I've been thinking about that for a while now since we've been talking about the great things other people can do. I never thought about what that is. This is the first time I've heard someone else bring it up. And funny enough, I just got back from my English class after communicating this to my professor. She said the exact same thing about another subject. I swear, 90% of stuff I see or hear for the first time in 20 at 20 years old. Wait, okay, I'll listen to that one. I swear 90% of the stuff I see or hear for the first time at 20 years old, I hear for the second time a few days or even hours later. I don't get it, but it's just funny like that. I got you. I got you. Wow, everybody's coming in now, right now. Holy smoke. I can't even I can't even pronounce that. I'm sorry. I am not trying to be a jerk. It's a Russian name, and I cannot pronounce that. Okay? Or Russian or East European. I think he's Poland. He's from Poland. But your name is Joe. Hope you understand. Joe with a U. I hope you because I cannot. No. I apologize. Anyway, I think people are mad because they know that they will and would never be able to do something this kind. And there's nothing wrong with not being able to do it. But to be mad at someone who can is weird to me. Learned. Okay, spell that messed up. Yeah, that is learned here. Learned this from my mom when I asked why she didn't approve my friend's posting about her donating her graduation party money. She was very generous, but to this day, it's still crazy to me to train thought that she must have went the train thought that she must have went through. She's very religious for the context, a Christian, and believe helping neighbors. It's like I always say, the less you do, the less you get blamed for. I'll give anything to be able to fix the loved ones and their problems. Matt, this man out here is creating dreams. That is so true. And again, Mr. Beast, yeah, great job. I mean, we doing it. We doing it. Yeah. Awesome, Mr. Beast. You're doing great things out there. Okay. So let's go to the last one. About this last one from John Stossel. Did an interview. And it's just a reality check. That's what this is. A reality check.
Experience. I interviewed a politician, potential presidential candidate, and he actually said some things that surprised me.
I, Michael Richard Pompeo, do solemnly swear.
Mike Pompeo ran the CIA, then became Secretary of State. We talked because he just released this book. Pompeo calls himself a deficit hawk. Since America's going broke, we could use more deficit hawks, but Republicans like him have been hypocrites about spending.
Yeah.
Would Pompeo admit that? Republicans under Trump spent more, increased the deficit.
Guilty as charged.
Really?
Yeah.
He
did. I'm not going to say he did. Not as much as what Biden has done, but they did. And to be beneficial too. He never said, Trump never put in his thing to say, oh, we're going to stop the deficit. He never said that. So I was not, at least Trump did not lie either, because he never said, that was never on the campaign speech saying, oh, we're going to save. Never that. He's talking about saving money from all over the red tape, yes, but the deficit, no. And he paid more to the deficit, but not like Biden. Okay, nowhere close.
Politician who admits that.
My party has been no more serious about actually delivering solutions to this problem than the Democrat
Party. And that's what I said. There's nothing I hate more than a Republican than the Democrat Party.
That's unusually honest. He also didn't dodge the fact that Social Security and Medicare are going broke. They're unsustainable.
Of course.
I tell my son, you need to make sure you work hard. Yeah. Right? The math suggests that somehow these trust funds run out about the time my son Nick will be turning to Social Security.
I'm not looking for Social Security myself too. I'm 40. I'm not looking for that because it's not, the money's not there
for his money.
But what do you do? Raise retirement ages?
There's nothing that should be off the table.
Chicken! That's brave. Voters vilify politicians who suggest changes. This Democrat was hounded by seniors for proposing they pay a little more for Medicare. They surrounded his car and screamed at him. When Republican Paul Ryan suggested similar reforms, opponents called the ideas radical and depicted him pushing grandma off a cliff.
Of course. And the reason why? You feed the animal, and since the animal don't gotta go foraging, it forgets how to forage for its food. And that's why government never takes back what. That's why you do not give. That's why within the last thing, do not give these guys taxes. They never take them back. They'll say, "Oh, we're gonna do this for 2-3 years." They never take it back. They never, ever, ever take it back. All these programs are still there.
Entitlement reform never happened.
It never
Presidents
happens.
of both parties reject any change.
Under no circumstances should Republicans vote to cut a single penny from Medicare or Social Security.
They're a promise we made as a country.
And like I said, both parties are in it. Both presidents said that, and I called out what it is. So I pointed so people can understand that.
But when that promise was made, most Americans didn't even live to age 65. Now we live an average 76 years. And old people like me selfishly refuse to die. Secretary Pompeo is the rare politician who will admit something's got to change.
I hear all this debate about the Republicans are going to destroy Medicare, are going to destroy Social Security. I've actually seen.
Technically speaking, it needs to be destroyed anyway because it's basically a Ponzi scheme.
Republicans take up this narrative too.
Every vote I've cast protects and preserves benefits for seniors like Mom.
That's right. I've been watching.
No, we need to work to save these structures.
Then Pompeo surprised me again.
Pompeo, a staunch conservative.
Staunch conservatives usually say we have to spend more on the military.
We got
Pompeo didn't.
There's no need to spend more money than we're spending today.
Here's another surprise. Pompeo calls Vladimir Putin a thug. He criticized China's leaders so much that President Trump told him, shut the hell up about China. And he called North Korea's dictator a sweating, evil mass murderer. Yet who does Pompeo say is the most dangerous person in the world? None of these dictators.
Randy Weingarten is the most dangerous person in the world.
Randy Weingarten, the teachers union boss. The most in the world?
The most dangerous
more
person
than
in the
Putin?
world. Yep. You know, it's a close
Yeah,
call on some of these.
Yeah, because she's the person who's doing horrible things to our kids with the whole trans this and shoving all this crap into the schools that don't mean nothing, and also making the schools, let's not, because of, okay, let me slow down a little bit. There's a story that I'm going to put in our Straight No Chasers Daily. It's no time soon, but you'll see it, where a young girl lost her life, and this has happened. I've showed videos about this too, because they didn't want to discipline another young girl. The young girl was troublesome and problem and was bullying this girl, and she was an A student. She came from immigrant family. It was all black kids, immigrant family, because she was in the Caribbean. Nobody stopped the child, and she literally went and stabbed the girl to death when she should have been kicked out of the school. But no, we don't want to do that. And also, we dumbing down the classes for black kids because, black, whatever. That woman is evil incarnate.
We'll figure out Putin. We'll figure out Xi Jinping. You teach kids that America is a racist nation. You teach kids that groups matter more than individuals. You teach kids that there's an oppressor class and that somehow America is the most indecent nation in the history of the world. You're done.
And also, men are women, women are men. No.
So, given the problems at America's schools, what would he do about them? I assumed he'd have some aggressive plans, but no, he just said,
I would speak about it often.
That surprised me. He'd just speak about it. Unlike other politicians, he didn't say, I'll fix it.
We set aside over $4 billion in the Recovery Act to promote improvements in schools.
Oh, how good that went. Both parties again.
No child.
That one is one of that right there. Let me see if I'm looking at the right there. Yeah, that right there is other than the Postal Union Service, of course, more than September 11th Trump invading Iraq. That No Child Left Behind was one of Bush's stupidest, dumbest policies. I hate it. I hate it because it made kids dumb as bricks. It made the kids get stupider. I hate that plan up there. I hate that plan. No Child Left Behind was a stupid idea. Some kids need to be left behind because some kids are stupid. Okay? If those who have learning disabilities and have a messed up system at home, you figure that out. But don't incompetence and hurt the other kids who are trying to learn. That No Child Left Behind. Oh, I hated it. Ugh.
Be left behind. But Pompeo actually says the Constitution puts limits on federal power.
Exactly.
So when it comes to education,
get the federal government out of that, and we will let these states begin to have the power to control the decisions that they make for their own students, instead of having some knucklehead bureaucrat at the U.S. Department of Education drive education policy out of Washington, D.C.
Who would be in charge of teaching kids?
School boards, school superintendents, teachers.
Because they're going to be more responsible, more local. The local ones are that. And again, then the local ones are doing more damage. But at least you could go from one school to another school. You could do certain things to a certain degree.
And governors.
Finally, a political candidate says, not my job.
Not my job. Not my job.
Should America abolish the Department of Education?
Yeah, you should get rid of it.
You get rid of it,
wow, a politician actually opened to shrinking federal power. We talked for almost an hour, and Pompeo kept surprising me. He also ticked me off. I'll release our full interview next week.
Okay, and I'll check it out. Yeah, he's not gonna say everything great. There's some stuff he's gonna say that's crazy, and I guarantee you on that. But I just want to, like I said, he's correct on certain. And what John Stossel just said right there, he's good. And you go to John Stossel on YouTube and check out that next week, like he said, and check out the interview, because that video just got released basically just recently. So yeah, check it out. I guarantee he's gonna say stuff that's crazy in his own. But it's all about balancing it out and crazy and being crazy analysis. Okay, that's just what it is. That's all it is. Yep. So I see something coming up, but we're gonna say we're dropping back down. So the highest we got up to 18, we're going down to 12,000. I get it, because not only I'll be on this coming in, but hey, guys out there, seriously, once again, I want to thank you guys out there for giving me your time. All right, and again, you don't have to be here watching me. You could be any place else. So remember, in the description, if you're in a spot where you have a description like Facebook or YouTube, Temper FM. If you want to share this and you want to use things, go to we have a Spotify, we have an Anchor, we have a Stitcher. We're gonna try to get on Apple podcast. We're gonna try to see if we can get onto that. But we have that. You have again, we have Nico. For my people in Japan, we have you now, we have you live. So again, live now, sorry, you live and live now. Thank y'all for giving me your time, your ear, and all that you have for me. Really appreciate it. And again, new stuff is happening. It's a new year. Again, this is February. We're gonna talk about some black issues, of course. It needs to be talked about. But I want to say this, and like I said, coming back, I need to get my camera straight a little bit more, but hey, it is what it is for now. Because it's supposed to catch me stand up. But again, check out Straight No Chasers Daily, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at between 7 to 8 o'clock. That is basically in the morning. If you hit the notification bell and subscribe to Project World Mike on YouTube, you'll be notified by that. 1, 2. Share the video. If you think you saw something that's nice and good, share it. And again, thank you for giving me your time. All right, as you just see right there, Mr. Beast, again, thank you for what you did. God bless you in your endeavor to help people and everything. We gotta do better at raising our kids, literally. We gotta do better than that. And hopefully at this point right now, I don't think I'll just tell people out there, I'm not gonna do a side chat tomorrow either. It's just I'm trying to get everybody back in it, because I took a while after I got married, of course, the lovely Asa. I had we took a break and just time for ourselves, time for our family, do things, and just hang in there and help others out when things was getting rough. So it's gonna take a while to get everybody back in the groove, and I thank you guys for your patience for that. So hopefully I will get Dr. Feelgood to release his videos again, and of course have excuse me, and of course have Andre with Andre's mic to do the exact same thing. Okay, so with that said, again, remember, evil comes in all shapes, size, color, creed, height, sex, gender, nationality, location. Evil's evil. I don't care what it is, it's just evil. And remember, people are stupid, individuals smart. Be that smart individual. All right, really do the right thing and take care of yourself, people. Take care of yourself and take care of your family, take care of your neighbors, your community, and that will make a better society. That's what we need to be doing. So this is your boy Tig for Project Open Mic, saying once again, hope you guys have a good night. Take care of yourself. Remember, we're gonna give you more content now, so check it out. Again, YouTube, Tempo FM, Spotify, and Facebook. Check it out. All right, and we got Twitch, we got Nico, and all the other stuff. So we'll catch you next time. See you next Thursday. New topic, new thing. Peace. Have a good night.